Hello and welcome to my third, I think, Blu-ray update for July of 2021, and it's a simple Arrow video sale. And in fact, there's one that I'll probably have shown in my first video, so it doesn't count. We'll forget about that one because I've already shown it in a video, I guess, at this point chronologically. I'm rushing to film a lot of videos before I tear down this whole room and move my office and movie collection to another part of the house. Anyway. All that stuff aside, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Arrow Video / Arrow Academy titles. And I think they're now disbanding the Arrow Academy line and kind of re-releasing stuff under the Arrow Video banner, which is interesting. So, well, I'll start. I'm finding this weird. I'm doing these Blu-ray updates. I'm feeling very like, ooh, shall I start with that or not? It doesn't matter what I start with. Let's just fucking show you start getting through these things. We have the Sister Street Fighter collection. I am just getting tempted by these prices. It's a sickness. It's a fucking sickness. But they sound kind of fun. And Sonny Chiba stars in these. But there's, I think, 4 movies in this. And this went down to £10. And I just thought, I might want to check this out. And I just love Asian cinema. What can I say? So lovely artwork on the front. I absolutely love that. And yeah, there's many of the Asian releases box sets I'm kind of interested in a very surface level fashion. I don't know much about them, but I'm not going to spend £25 on a box set or a collection of films, that I really don't know much about, and it's a complete blind buy. But £10 for 4 films, you kind of got me. So it's just one of those things where I'm just a slave to it. I'll leave the big set until the end. It's not a huge set, but it's compared to the others, it's a limited edition. So we'll get to the 5 Arrow Academy titles. So did I even mention there's an Arrow video sale going on right now called Arrow Camp Part 2, or Summer Camp, I think it's called. And they all dropped on Amazon. They all dropped on HMV. So it's a mix from both. This one I wanted to get the Criterion of, but I've got to a point now where I'm kind of letting go, the idea of wanting to get everything on Criterion, especially when you need to import it. But I really like the cover on this one, and I really want to see the film. I've read about it, and I really want to watch it. It stars David Bowie. Takeshi Kitano is in this, and it is Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. Love that artwork. It's just fantastic. So I believe David Bowie plays a man who is in a Japanese prisoner of war camp, I want to say. Let's see if I got that right. From 1983, and it's directed by Nagisa Oshima. Nagisa Oshima, who I think did In the Realm of the Senses, which is my most viewed review of all time, my most viewed video, like by at least double. And I hated that film. But I got a feeling I'll probably get on a little bit better with this one. So, yes, British officer in 1942, Major Jack Kelliers is captured by Japanese soldiers and after a brutal trial sent, physically debilitated but indomitable in mind, to a POW camp overseen by the zealous Captain Yonoi. So, don't want to know too much more about it than that. I've heard it's very good. There is also an 82-minute documentary about Oshima, a 30-minute documentary following the film's cast and makers at the 1983 Cannes Film Festival, interviews, a new interview with Tony Raines. This is a pretty stacked release, and I'm really looking forward to watching the film. I've heard many good things, and it's always intrigued me. The next one is, I've been waiting to pull the trigger on this one for literally years. I believe this is in the book 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. It's a Czech film, and comes from 4K digital restoration, which is always nice. And it has the original soundtrack, some archival interviews. And I know very little about this, but it's about a teenager who gets his first job as a railway dispatcher. And is suddenly forced to confront the realities of the adult world, least not the temptations of the opposite sex. So this contains moderate sex at the 15 rated BBFC stamp of approval. I lost my way on that sentence there, I apologize. This is Closely Observed Trains. So I love train movies. I'm going to go ahead and assume this isn't set on a train at any point, but it's about a guy who is kind of working at a railway, and that intrigues me. But yeah, and it's, world cinema is something I'm really passionate about and have very little knowledge in, even though I've seen probably hundreds of foreign films at this point from around the world. But I do lean more towards Japanese films. That's kind of my area of enjoyment. But also, I would say more over the past couple of years, Chinese films as well. Films from Hong Kong, from Taiwan. So I'm broadening, but I'm not leaving East Asia, So I need to watch more, from around the world, I think. So that was speaking. We go to another Japanese film. This one, I'm kind of really intrigued by it because of when it came out in the 50s, 1953. I think this film came out. 1953, and it's called Hiroshima. And I just find the whole idea of a nuclear bomb to be perhaps one of the scariest things imaginable. The fact that even exists is terrifying to me. But there's also that feeling you get when you're kind of scared of something, but you want to kind of open the door a little further. It's one of those weird car crash mentalities I have where I'm fascinated by it, I'm kind of scared by it, and then the fallout from it is just obviously horrific, and so I'm intrigued by that. And sometimes I do want to kind of, again, open the door a little bit and see that darkness that has existed in real life. Obviously, this is a film version. I read in the booklet of this, actually. I haven't watched the film yet, but I read that a film was made a year or two before this that was covering Hiroshima. And obviously, this is like only a few years after the event itself and the bomb dropping on Hiroshima. But, here we go. Yeah, so it was a film called Children of Hiroshima, directed by Kaneto Shindo. The previous year. So and people weren't happy with the way that depicted things and thought that it was being a bit soft perhaps, or not really getting into it, and this film apparently does. So I very much want to see it. I don't know if I'll enjoy it, but it's just one of those things. This is a reacquisition. I sold this at some point and never watched it. And I was actually sent it for free. Yes, FREE. I was sent it to review and unbox on my channel 7 years ago. And I did the unboxing, fulfilled my kind of obligations in that form, but I never got around to watching it. So I had to reacquire it at some point. And I went for The Train, Burt Lancaster. I'm now becoming more and more aware, there's one right here actually, that I have films in my collection that are set on trains that I haven't seen. And I love films set on trains. One here is Rome Express. So I might do some sort of like express movie marathon where it's just all films set on trains or about trains. Throw in a few that I have seen before and enjoy, like The General or The Lady Vanishes. Murder on the Orient Express would be a good one. There's The Polar Express. I've never seen that. I own Von Ryan's Express. I have Horror Express. I've never seen that. I know there's Terror Train. Wouldn't mind revisiting Under Siege 2. There's all sorts of train movies. Anyway, but that's a Burt Lancaster film. I just need to see it. There's not too much to say about it. I think I saw bits of it when I was a kid, so that kind of intrigues me, but otherwise, I'm not too sure. This is going to bug me because I don't know the name of the director or how to pronounce it. But it is a box set that used to exist as a nice Arrow Academy box set that has now been re-released in a single edition, just a plain case, which is, in an ideal world, I'd have all the limited editions, but there's only so much money in the world that you can actually throw at these films. So it's 3 films by Jia Zanke. Jaya Zank? I have no idea. Literally no idea how to pronounce that. And I haven't seen any of this director's films either. But we have one film I heard a lot about, right? The Cannes Prize winner, A Touch of Sin from 2013. I heard so much about that when it came out at the time. It was one of the big films of that year I never got around to seeing. Then there's 24 City from 2008 and Mountains Made Apart from 2015. I believe there was also another disc with the limited edition that had a documentary about the director, I think. But there's 2 short films by the director as well. Introductions to each film by Tony Raines. 3 interviews with the director on each film with Tony Raines and another critic, Scott Foundas. So all sorts of great special features on this one. Just one of those things. I love Asian cinema. It gets us like £10, I think. So £10 for 3 films, all these great extras. Can't really go wrong, and if you do, it can be sold under someone who's going to appreciate it more than me. Finally, this one, when it was announced, I was like, it just seemed that film gets the deluxe treatment, And then I thought, kind of want to see it now, and I kind of want the 4K version. I want to get the Arrow Video 4K version, but I want to get the limited edition 4K version. And it was sold out, and there's no way to get it for a decent price. But I saw that the regular, just 1080p Blu-ray edition, the dirty 1080p, high definition version. Ugh, no 4K involved. No, it's funny. I look down on DVD so much, and sometimes I'm like, oh, it's not 4K. But I haven't got that far yet. Fortunately, I should say. But this is the limited edition standard high definition release of the film Tremors. I just absolutely love that artwork. I just love the way it wraps around. I love the colors. I love the design. It's just fucking cool. The film doesn't look all that good. And I know people who I know really love the film and say it's a lot of fun, but I don't know, But the transfer looked great from the screenshots I've seen. And they're just loaded to the gills with special features, as you can imagine with this kind of set. And there's a second disc, which is exclusive to this limited edition, with extended hour-long interviews from the feature-length documentary that's included on the first disc, three early short films by the maker of Tremors, remastered in high definition. I love seeing these these random kind of oddities kind of remastered in high definition for these extras on Blu-ray releases. 60-page book, a poster, and a black case on the inside. I almost thought, oh, did they send me the 4K version? But they didn't. And, if I end up loving this film, and I just have to have it in 4K, I can buy the regular 4K down the line and just swap it out, and it won't make too much difference, right? But I have a feeling I'm not going to really love this film that much, but I really wanted to see it. I love the packaging on this thing, which is the most important part of Blu-ray collecting, right? So I'll check this out. And I know that they've done a they haven't. Oh, I thought that they had done like a proper from the original negative scan. It seems they haven't. Well, no, it is okay. They just didn't. There's 3 sections. So there's the disc 1, disc 2, and then there's the special edition contents. So on disc 1 it just says a 1080p presentation, but in the special edition content section it says 4K restoration from the original negative by Arrow Films, approved by the director and the director of photography. So they've done their stuff on this. So it should look pretty damn good. Anyway, that's the Arrow Video / Academy update. Let me know if you bought anything from the Arrow sale and what you think of these titles. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you, 'cause